I'm Matt Lefebvre and I run a marketing communications agency in Oxford called 61 Integrated Communications.
Why is market research important?
You need to understand the motivations and requirements of your customer, and in order to do that you have to first find out what those needs and motivations are. There are a number of examples where companies have launched products or services without first having researched the market, and clearly they have failed.
What market research techniques do you use?
There are a number of techniques that are available. They broadly fit into two categories, and forgive me for being a little technical at this stage. One is called quantitative research and the other is called qualitative research. And quantitative research is a method whereby you can look at the numbers behind a market research project. And that would tend to use much bigger market research techniques such as telephone surveys, street interviews, where you need to talk to a lot of people and gain some specific number data, such as the percentage share of the market in which you're operating. So it tends, as I say, to be a much bigger sampling exercise. The second technique that I mentioned just now was qualitative research, which tends to be a much smaller scale research technique, where you are talking to people on a more one-to-one basis. And there are techniques within qualitative research, such as focus groups, which I'm sure are familiar to a lot of people, and one-on-one or in-depth interviews. And those techniques tend to be used where you want to try and find out more about what people feel and think about products. So quantitative will give you the numbers and the qualitative will give you the feeling and attitude to a product, brand or service.
Have you worked with any international brands?
In my career I've been privileged to have worked on a number of large international brands, including Gulf Air and Holiday Inn Hotels, which were marketing campaigns that operated on a global multi-market basis. For instance, with Gulf Air we were marketing the brand in 37 countries, and with Holiday Inn Hotels we were marketing the brand in 60 countries.
What is the target audience for Gulf Air, for example?
There are two distinct audiences for Gulf Air. There's the leisure traveller and the business traveller. And the leisure traveller would want the promotion of the excitement of the venue and the destination, the journey itself and how enjoyable it is and how it's part of the holiday experience. Whereas the business traveller required information that included punctuality, destination, frequency, and to an extent in-flight service, particularly from a business point of view, that the cabin's quiet and they've got facilities to plug their PC in and so on. But with a brand like Gulf Air you have critical cultural differences as well, because particularly as a Middle Eastern airline there are differences in terms of religion, culture and requirements of the local market. The writer whose books I've read most include recently a gentleman called Alexander McCall Smith, who's written a fine series of books called The Ladies' No. 1 Detective Agency.
A place where I felt happy was the riding stables when I was little.
A place where I felt happy was out in the surf on my surfboard.
The place where I had my first job was Switzerland.
The place where I had my first job was in North London, in a place called Hendon.